Hi everyone, and welcome to today's video where we're going to be talking about how much money I made on Teachers Pay Teachers in the first half of 2021. So if you are new around here, hi, my name is Becca. I'm an elementary music teacher and I started TPT in 2018, and at the same time I started this YouTube channel where I started sharing my journey of TPT, which actually wasn't the point, but you know what, we're not going to talk about that today because today we're talking about income. So from the very beginning of my TPT journey, I've been sharing how much money I've been making pretty much every month since the very beginning so that you have a little bit of perspective. Now, I do this because I actually started as a blogger back in 2017, and in the blogging world, it's very common for people to do these income reports where they say how much money they've made from blogging and how they made the money and just kind of tips and tricks. And I found them so helpful in just kind of figuring out what all this stuff was, because you know, when you start you have no idea. And when I got to TPT, I looked and I couldn't find anybody doing the same thing, so I started doing that same thing. So we talk about that here in these videos. Now, a couple things to remember before we get started. Number one, just because this is how much money I'm making on TPT does not mean that's how much money you'll be making. Some people make way more than I do, and some people make a lot less than I do. And either way, that's fine. We're all on our own journey, which takes me to number two. We are all on our own journeys. We are all in different places. Like I mentioned, I started blogging in 2017 and TPT in 2018. And so, you know, I've already been doing things a lot, and also I put a lot of time into my TPT shop, which also makes a huge difference because in terms of hours there is a difference there. Also, things like niche and, you know, your focus and what kind of products you're making are also going to change how much money you make on TPT. There's a lot of different factors. So I never ever, number three, do these videos to make you feel bad. The only thing I want you to feel is inspiration or education. If anything makes you feel bad at all, click out, don't watch the rest of it, because that's not the intention. The intention is just to be like, hey, look, you can do this. Because if I had known that I could do this a couple of years ago, I think I would have hit it so much sooner, and I would have done even better because I would have had perspective and I would have known things. Because when I first started and I made $7 in my first month, I was like, I had no idea that this is where I'd be now. So if they make you feel bad, click out, go watch my very first month of TPT income report or my first 6 months of TPT income reports. They're all available and I will link them down below so you can kind of see the whole progression there. And number four, I like to give this little caveat. Just because this is how much money my business is making does not mean I get to keep it all. So do, you know, just keep that in mind. It's not that important, but just in my head, I'm like, I hope that they realize that like I have to pay taxes and like I reinvest in my business and like I do these things. It's not all just like money that goes in my pocket to take me to Disney World. Although some of it is money that goes in my pocket to take me to Disney World. Anyway, all of that to say, I hope you enjoy the video. I would love to hear kind comments down below, and let's get started. All right, so we are working on the first half of 2021. Again, I have these all the way from the very first month that I have ever made. And for reference, I want to give you this. So for reference, I want to give you this little information. In December of 2020, I made $2,021.95. That was a pretty decent average for the second half of 2020, and really for all of 2020. But I wanted to give you that reference because it's about to get crazy. So we're going to talk about how much money I made each month, and then also what I kind of did in that month. And yes, this is all money that TPT paid me, so this does not include their cut of it. I've had that question before, so I wanted to throw it out there. All right, so in January of 2021, I was shooting for $3,000 and I ended up making $3,575.53, which, I'm not gonna lie, blew my mind a little bit. I was like, how the heck did that happen? I don't know. Except now in retrospect, looking back, I do see a couple of things. So in January, I made a bunch of new products, specifically like different types of products. So I started making some products that were different types of digital games, and I made different types of, they were all pretty much digital because I was teaching digitally, but our kids were supposed to come back in January and then they didn't, and we're still online. And so I was like, we need new things and fun things. So I wanted fun things for my class. And so I started making fun digital things to work on Zoom for all of you, because you know what I make is what I end up putting on TPT. And so I made quite a few products that were new and that were fun and that were like games and digital and just all these different things, and they sold really well. And I think that's why January ended up doing so well, or at least I thought it was so well. And then February came. Now in February there is a TPT sale, so do be aware of that, but I can't believe this number. In February, I almost don't want to say it out loud. In February, I made $7,008.95. And even now that we're like months later, I'm still like, I cannot believe that that happened. Like, that is insane. Way bigger. My previous highest month was last year in September, was 3,800. And so it basically doubled my last month and pretty much my best month ever. A little bit, because 38 is not quite 7, but you know, it's still. It pretty much doubled my best months ever, and I was just like in shock the whole month. I was like, how is this happening? So how that happened, again, I had a bunch of new products that were all really fun. I also was making a bunch of jazz resources, ironically, because I was like, I want to make some jazz resources for April, because April is jazz month. And so I was gonna get them up in February, because I was like, you know, I'm gonna do really good and actually get them up ahead of time, because I usually get them up like during the month. But because February is Black History Month, people were buying up all my jazz resources in February. So it wasn't intentional, but it ended up working out really well. So I had those new products I made in January, and then I had a bunch of jazz resources and Black History Month resources that sold really, really well in February on top of the TPT sale, and it just blew my mind. It was insane. I'm still in shock. Still in shock. Now, full disclosure, that's gonna be the highest month, so don't get too excited, but it was absolutely insane. Absolutely insane. Also during that, I saw my first product that actually took off. So typically when I look at my sales, I don't have like one product that sells way more than other things. They're usually all about the same, but I have a lot of products. So I sell a lot of products, you know, at a, I don't know, average rate. I don't usually have one product that does really well, but this month I had one product that did really well. So it's an activity that goes along with the song, What a Wonderful World. Doesn't teach the song, but it goes along with it, and we talk about like the instruments in the song, and we talk about just Louis Armstrong and stuff like that. It just like took off and went insane, and I am still in shock. Now in March, I had no idea what to expect, because, you know, Black History Month was over, and I was like, I don't know if that was a fluke, it's just like a really weird thing. But in March, I ended up making $6,155.50. So in March, I was still selling a lot of those like new fun games that I had made and stuff like that. Also, I feel like in January, February, March, I had a lot of like blog posts and videos that I was posting, so those also helped. My YouTube channel was really starting to gain some traction at this point, and yeah, it was a good deal. In April, we went down again to $5,203.49, which I'm still not complaining about, because that's still more than I made last year in any particular month at all. So those 2 months in March, March was St. Patrick's Day, and my Irish music lesson went insane. So that happened. Now in April, it was still doing pretty well, obviously, but I don't have any like spring specific lessons. And so I think that that contributed to it being lower. Again, not complaining, because I'm very, very content with the $5,000. But in the future, I know I want to make some spring resources to kind of beef up, because I had, you know, the Black History Month resources that did really well, and then I had the Irish music one that did really well in March, and in April I thought the jazz stuff was gonna do well, and it didn't. So I need like spring things or something to help with that. Also keep in mind that March and April is when most US schools have their spring break, so that also contributes to this. Then in May, we went down again, which I find every May goes down, so I'm not terribly worried about it. And that is $4,683.97. So not quite as, you know, not quite at the 5,000 mark, but I mean, still pretty dang close. And so I was still quite happy with that. There wasn't anything super exciting in May. Still a couple new resources, still looking at some fun stuff. I had a virtual field trip to Hawaii that did pretty well, and honestly, I was ready for summer, and so I was kind of checked out. And then we hit June, and in June, a lot of schools are out. I'm out all of June, and a lot of schools are winding down and almost out, and so I find that usually in June, the sales go way down, and I was correct. In June, I made $965.94. So the only 3-figure month this year so far has been June, and I'm sure that July will also be a 3-figure month, which is fine. I was almost a little bit scared to share this with you because it's like, it was so ridiculous and so insane that I was just like, I can't believe it. But y'all keep asking for these videos, so I thought I would deliver and share it anyway, and I will continue to share it as long as everyone is taking it correctly, not getting discouraged. Always be encouraged and not discouraged, and also being nice in the comments. A few notes: if you saw kind of the rise and fall of the money that's just seasonal work, you know, when you're a TPT seller, I always find that it's kind of like March and April are usually pretty similar, and then usually in May we go down, and then in June we go down a lot. And so in June and July, I'm making way less, which I know almost $1,000 might not seem like less, but that's, you know, 1/4 of what I made in May. So you always have to look at it, you know, kind of percentage wise and not necessarily number wise. In previous years, it went down like half of what it had been in May. And so this year it was like 1/4 of what it was in May. I'm not worried about it because literally when I plan my year, I try to guess how much money I can make every month, and I put June and July at 0 because I'm like, I'm just not gonna expect anything, and then anything's exciting. But it is a reminder to make sure that you're always, if you're relying on that money, that you're saving a little bit more out of April and May so that you'll have that money for June and July. So just kind of keeping that in the back of your mind. So I guess I should give you a total, right? Oh, well, here, we'll do it this way. So far in 2020, minus the July revenue I've made so far, it has been $27,593.38, which again is absolutely insane. That is more than I made in all of 2020. And so, like, the overwhelming feeling that I've had this year so far has just been like grateful and blown away. Grateful and blown away. That's how I felt all year long. It's just like all year I'm like, I can't believe this. This is crazy. Thank you, Jesus. And always remembering to just be grateful for anything that comes in, but especially when it gets there. Also remember, every dollar is, you know, a teacher helping students. And so that's even crazier when you start looking at like how many products you've sold and how many teachers have bought from you, and think about like that impact, which is way better and more long lasting than any money that I am making. So I never really know how to end these videos. That's how much money I've made so far. It's insane. I know, I'm aware. I am also really nosy, so I would love to know some information about you. You don't have to share your numbers because I understand that not everybody in the world wants to share their numbers with the whole internet, but maybe tell us like your best month so far and maybe your worst month so far. That'll be some interesting things to see if we all have like similar best months or similar worst months. I'm very curious. So let me know those things in comments. What's your best month and what's your worst month? And hopefully you enjoyed this. If you did, let me know so I know to keep making them. And I will link the other income reports and also the how to manage your money as a TPT seller down below. And if you want an updated version of that video, let me know, because I've changed a couple of things over the past year because my income went up a lot. So thank you guys so much for watching, and I will see you next time. Bye.